like to go ahead and get started. First off, we'd like to welcome those here in the room with us and those that are watching us to the October 21st, 2025 Infrastructure Committee meeting. And I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'll start by asking the committee to introduce themselves.
Councilwoman Ortiz, and I represent District 3 and the City of Topeka.
Okay. Councilman Dave Banks, District 4.
Neil Dobler, District 7.
We'd also have another council member.
Interloper, Council District Number 9, Michelle Hofer.
Thank you. Now that we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, first item is to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Would entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Motion has been made
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion or questions about the minutes? Take a roll.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Second on our agenda is, third on our agenda is presentation on the California Bridge project.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This morning, we have Brian Armstrong with Bartlett and West and Greg Gonzalez from KDOT that will be giving you a presentation on the upcoming California Avenue Bridge replacement over I-70.
Brian?
Okay, I'll start off.
Okay.
Greg Gonzalez, KDOT. Thank you for having us this morning. This is just kind of an update, just to kind of let you guys know. We've been working with the city a little bit in the past already. Had a city at field check, and then also had meeting with Councilwoman Ortiz and city manager and some other staff with the city back in July and are continuing to coordinate. But this is for the California Avenue Bridge over I-70 is due for replacement. Structures from the 1960s and has kind of exceeded its usable life cycle, so it's due to be replaced. This project actually was supposed to let in fall of 2027. However, there was identified that there is a pretty good benefit that could be gained if we coordinated the construction of it with closure of I-70, which is going to take place as part of the Polk Viaduct project. So we accelerated the project schedule on this, for which it will now let in January of 2026. So that's right around the corner. We did have a public meeting back in August and had a number of stakeholders that came out. I think we had about 14 stakeholders and 17 members of the general public who attended. Got generally pretty good feedback from those that we interacted with during that meeting. And I'll kind of turn it over to Brian to maybe talk a little bit more about the specifics of the project.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So just a few slides today, kind of take you through kind of what the project looks like, and then a few slides that are going to tell us kind of a story of how traffic is going to be handled during construction. Oh, all right. So just a plan sheet. So shaded in gray there are the improvements. So going from left to right is California over I-70 in the middle. We're essentially picking up the bridge that's there and putting something very similar back, but in new condition. We are adjusting the grade a little bit so that we get more clearance under the bridge on I-70, but not as much as we would if California impacts weren't an issue. If we try to raise the bridge too much, the improvements to California stretch blocks in both directions. So kind of putting back similar to what's there, we can exceed the design criteria right now, help things a little, and our footprint kind of stays within the ramp terminal. So we're on the north end, we're reconstructing that ramp terminal. The pavement's really bad. On the south ramp terminal, we're going to overlay that asphalt, but the majority of the construction happens in the middle. So this is just a profile of the new bridge. Kind of hard to see. I-70's underneath, but essentially we're putting back a similar reinforced concrete haunch slab bridge to replace what's out there, and planning for future I-70 widening. If we ever add capacity there, we've made sure that works in the future. And so that's the bridge. As a part of the design, we met with the city. We've added some aesthetic elements to the project. There's black powder-coated chain link fence on the sidewalk crossing on the east side. We have a black powder-coated bridge rail on the inside. And then the biggest improvement to what's out there, right now there are about 3 wood pole Evergy lights. And we had a big discussion about pedestrian continuity. So on the east side, there's a sidewalk going across the bridge right now, but the city has already done improvements north of the project to get a sidewalk up to the next street, but then as a part of the city's grant, potentially connecting the sidewalk corridor all the way to the north. So we had really an emphasis on trying to make that pedestrian movement through the bridge project as safe and accessible as possible. To do that, we've added LED street lighting like the city has on a lot of other recent arterial projects to the entire interchange. So we have a total of 11 30-foot LED streetlight poles adjacent to the project. They're not on the bridge, but they're as close to the bridge on all 4 corners and along the entire both off ramps and then the pedestrian crossing on the southeast. So those are really going to help kind of light up that entire area compared to what's out there today. So just a little bit about how we're going to build it. So starting, as Greg mentioned, January letting, sometime in spring, this is going to get started. Very first thing over a weekend, we're going to close I-70 under the bridge. Traffic is going to go up and down over the ramps, and we're going to tear out the bridge that's there. So just in one weekend, the existing bridge is going to be gone. That's going to let then construction to start on the piers on I-70 that are going to build up to the new bridge. To do that, at the beginning, so you can kind of see in red are the ramps. The ramps are going to be closed at the very beginning. We're going to have 1 lane of traffic going under the interchange on I-70, and we're going to start to build the bridge. Eventually then, we're going to be able to open up all of the ramps, again, while we still just have 1 lane of traffic on I-70. And this is really to get ready for when I-70 closes downtown. So this project is tied to the contractor with Polk Quincy. At some point in the summer of 26, Polk Quincy contractor is going to shut down I-70 downtown. From Topeka Boulevard to 4th Street, it's closed. While it's closed, there's going to be a lot less traffic through this segment of I-70 because all through traffic is going to be routed around the south side of town. So while there's a lot less traffic on this stretch, then at the same time, we're going to close I-70 underneath the bridge so that we can build it. And for that entire closure, traffic will be going through the ramps. You'll get off the ramp and back onto I-70, and that's the only thing carrying I-70 traffic. So we did an extensive traffic management plan that looked at what are the volumes going to be during I-70 closure, any other improvements that are necessary to adjacent interchanges. All that's been accounted for in the design. And this will be the main part of the bridge construction from summer of 26 to fall of 26. So this will all be finished next year. The bridge will be completed. and back open. So this is just the big picture detour. So the shaded area in red is the Polk Quincy I-70 closure downtown. That's when our work at California will also happen on closing I-70 and routing traffic through the ramps. And then big picture, I-470 and the Turnpike is the main detour around the south side of town. So project timeline, we're already now into the fourth quarter of 25. Our letting is in January, as we talked about. Construction all in 26. And that's the main summary. We'd be glad to answer any questions.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Ortiz.
Thank you. A couple of things. Mr. Gonzalez, I was born in the 60s, so I guess I'm kind of deteriorating too then. I heard that and I thought, whoa. Know what I mean, Neil? It's like kind of like.
That leaves me.
I do agree that this is long and overdue, and so we're really excited about that. I was very pleased with the presentation and the people that went to the open house and this discussion and how you guys took time, even with little old me, to just kind of talk about, you know, the cemetery, everything that's going to happen there. I'm pleased with the LED lighting that's going to go in there because that area is dark. It's very dark. I do have a question as I mean, I kind of wish it was like now because all my campaign signs and everybody's coming down Golden. That'd have been great, but my signs will be up by then. I do have a question though. I don't know who it's for. It might be for you, Steve. We've got 6th Street project going, and we've got traffic that's gonna flow through on Golden. And then our last part of that is 6 and Golden. That's gonna be the last part that's gonna be shut down. And we're going to direct traffic through there. How are we going to do this, guys?
We took that into account when we did the layout of the phasing on 6th Street. Yeah, there is going to be a little bit of work at Golden, but we're going to keep the traffic on 6th Street flowing. And when they're doing the north part of the intersection, they'll still be able to access Golden to the south. It'll only be on the south part of that project where there's going to be a little bit of time when Golden going south is closed, but there's other ways around. And we work pretty closely with the state on this phasing. Their official detour, as you can see, is going to be using Adams and Branner. There will be people cutting through both there and then also the other underpass to the east there was at Indiana. So yeah, we looked at it pretty closely.
Because I was told that 6 and Golden will be completely shut down at one point to redo that whole intersection.
Correct, but we're going to do that in 2 phases, the north half and then the south
Okay,
half.
okay, okay, I
Correct.
gotcha. Okay, and I have, as I've been out campaigning, I have been telling people what to expect. And they're concerned with the, Golden Bridge that we've talked about. And the wear and tear that bridge is going to get on it. I don't know if Braxton is here.
Yes.
But I did turn that into Braxton, and I think I showed you guys as well that, and I'm really concerned with the winter coming and how those potholes are going to, pop up again because that bridge is bad.
I've had multiple conversations with District 1 KDOT staff on the Golden Avenue Bridge, and they're trying to find funding, but they just don't have funding to do that replacement yet, but they're fully aware of the issues with the Golden Avenue Bridge.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions from the committee? Chair recognizes Councilman Dobler.
Not a question, just a comment. Greg, thanks for coming. Brian, I think this illustrates our continuing good partnership with KDOT. It's great to see this done as well as the huge Polk Quincy project. I think KDOT does a great job along with the consultant on meeting with the public and council representatives from that district. And as well as just coming here and giving us a quick update. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anything else? Councilwoman Hofer?
Will there be another meeting shortly before this starts, so everybody can get a final up-to-date?
Yeah, so early in '26, we don't have a date yet, but there will be an open house for the Polk Quincy project, which is going to further describe kind of the timing of where the contractor is, what's going to happen in early '26, and then when potential closure might happen on I-70. At that same time, we're going to have an update on California as a part of that meeting. The Polk Quincy I-70 closure will really impact the message for California, so we'll tell the whole story at the same time, maybe even in this room sometime January, February. We're going to wait till we get a contractor selected on California, and we can kind of give an update on everything at that time.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Anything else? Well, thank you all for presenting to us today. It's very informative. Moving on the agenda, we're at action item 4A. Steve?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, the next 6 items will be projects for 2026 for Public Works and Engineering. First one is our crack sealing program. This will be in the southeast and east central portions of the city. We're looking to spend $1 million on crack sealing. Construction, we're hoping will start late winter, early spring, get a jump on it for next year. It'll be $1 million program funded through our street contract preservation program using the half-cent citywide sales tax.
Question? Councilwoman Ortiz?
I'll second it for the sake of discussion. Steve, for the people that are listening, can you just sum up crack seal in about 3 minutes,
How about 30 seconds?
30 seconds?
It's, we have a contractor, sometimes it's our city staff, we go out and we look for cracks in the pavement. Sometimes we route them out, sometimes we don't route them out, and then we put a asphalt product in there to seal the cracks to keep moisture from penetrating the subgrade. Okay, 45.
Okay. Anything else? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion has been made, seconded, motion carries. Action item B.
Mr. Chair, this is alley reconstruction and sanitary sewer improvements. It's basically in the area around Paravel, Southwest 7th Street and Southwest Clay Street. This will be a design build project we're expecting to start in the summer of 2026. It's $1,550,000. $800,000 would be citywide half-cent sales tax funds under the alley repair program. The other $750,000 will be from the wastewater revenue bonds and operating funds under their wastewater lining and replacement program. There's already been public meetings for this project. We're looking for your approval to move it into design build.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion before we end it? Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action item C.
Mr. Chair, this is for street improvements on Northwest Clay, Taylor, Polk Streets, as well as the South US 24 Frontage Road. This is an asphalt overlay and shoulder grading funded under our pavement management program. It's going to be about $780,000 funded with the citywide half-cent sales tax. With your approval, we'll get this out. Expect to start construction in the spring of next year.
Okay. Discussion, questions, comments?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. 3-0. Action item D.
Mr. Chair, this is for street improvements of Southeast 30th Street, Powell Street, and Turnpike Avenue. This project consists of an asphalt overlay funded under the pavement management program. $620,000 of citywide half-cent sales tax. With your approval, we hope to get this out for construction in spring of 2026.
Okay. Questions, comments for Steve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign.
Do you mind unmuting when you vote so it can be heard? Sorry. The other two council members.
Mute it or?
Unmuting when they vote because we can't hear them.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, motion has been made, seconded. We did the vote, okay? Councilwoman said move on. Motion carries. Moving on to action item E.
Mr. Chair, this is street and stormwater improvements on Southwest Gerald, Vitt, and Southwest 11th Street. This project is full pavement reconstruction funded under the Pavement Management Program and storm sewer replacement funded under the Stormwater Conveyance System Rehabilitation and Replacement Program. Project will be $940,000. The breakdown is $890,000 of half-cent citywide sales tax funded through our pavement management program. The balance is stormwater revenue bonds and operating funds funded under the Stormwater Conveyance System and Rehabilitation and Replacement Program.
Questions?
Move
Chair
it.
recognizes Councilwoman Polk.
Since this one's in my district, I have a couple questions. Okay, right now there's no curb, there's no gutter, there's no sidewalks. It's just flat pavement. So exactly what are they gonna do?
For us, it's just going to be the street where it's half-cent funding, so you're limited on what you can do. I'm not sure what the stormwater improvements are. Chris, do you know, or?
3 culvert pipes to be replaced.
Chris Bruns, our project manager, will explain that for you.
So we've got 3 culvert pipes that'll be replaced with those as we're reconstructing the asphalt on top.
This isn't a full reconstruction. We're adding sidewalks and curbs and items like that. It's half-cent money, so we're limited on improving the existing pavement out there.
Okay, at the corner of 11th and Gerald, there's a section of, well, there's no section. There's no road there. There's a big half moon where there's nothing. It's just grass. So is that going to be turned in, paved so they can actually use it?
So
It's just to the south of the intersection. There's just a big half moon where there's nothing there.
the
it's like-
I think the best way I can answer that, the pavement you see out there today will be peeled all up and then reconstructed. There'll be no additional pavement that we would put down out there.
Well, it's
or
like
existing
the-
road bed.
It's like the street just disappeared, like it just fell away or disintegrated. So there's a spot there where you can drive over it, but most of the year it's grass.
We'll take a look at that, Councilwoman, and get back to you on that.
Okay,
If it is a pavement that's missing and we need to do something before winter, we can have our street maintenance crews take a look at that.
I think they're kind of used to that part. It's just I want to make sure that when they go to do this work, that it's not forgotten and left out. Because there's one or two that live further to the south that use that road, and I want them to be able to have a road.
I
Right.
understand.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Move approval.
Second discussion.
Okay. Go ahead.
So this is the part of the half-cent sales tax that we have to, with the word existing in, so we can only put it back the way that we found it, right?
That is correct.
Okay, because I have a street like that too, that I've been trying for years. It's called Doan Street, and it's gravelled, and they will not pave it because they can't use the half-cent sales tax with that.
This doesn't even have gravel. It's like the road that was there, I don't know if it got hit by snowplows and they peeled it,
Okay.
but if you go further down, road's there. But just on that part, it doesn't exist. It's
Yeah.
turned into grass.
The dead end there south of 11th.
Well, that's further down. This is just right beyond the intersection or partially in the intersection. So I just want to make sure that they have the street they're supposed to.
Sure.
Right.
The motion's been made and seconded.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries 3-0. Moving on, action item F.
This is my last item. It's for street and stormwater improvements of Southwest Moundview Drive between Southwest 19th and 21st Streets. This project consists of full pavement reconstruction funded under the Pavement Management Program and storm sewer replacement funded under the Stormwater Conveyance System Rehabilitation Replacement Program. With your approval, we expect to begin construction in summer of 2026.
Any discussion, questions, comments for Steve?
Move approval.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Steve. Moving on to action item G. Looks like we have Director Davis.
Good morning. All right, this project is a water main replacement project for Moundview, along Southwest Moundview Drive from Mulligan Drive to 49th Street. We are looking at replacing a little over 11,000 linear feet of 6-inch ductile iron. We're going to replace that with PVC pipe. And then we're also going to be installing 1,400 linear feet of new 6-inch PVC pipe along some additional stretches. And hopefully this improves water quality and available fire flow for the area. Design for this project is complete. Construction is anticipated to start in spring of 2026. Should be about 120 days once we give notice to proceed to the contractors. And I should also add that this is estimated to be just under $1 million out of our cash and revenue bonds. So with that, I will stand for any questions.
Any questions for Director Davis? Comments?
Second.
Motion has been made, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Sorry. Motion carries. Moving on, action item H.
All right, that one is mine as well. So we come before you today to strike up the conversation of utility rates and the readiness to serve charges that we have been discussing periodically over the last 2 years at this point. Based on feedback from this committee, lots of concerns from our customers and other council members related to the readiness to serve charge that was implemented with our new rate structure in 2023. We have before you a proposed ordinance that changes, in a nutshell, the easiest way to put it is back to our practice before 2023, where folks were charged a base charge if they had active water and wastewater service. Those that did not have active wastewater or water service did not get charged a base rate at that point. The active readiness to serve charges that are in place now, as you all know, apply a base charge called readiness to serve to even those customers that do not have active service on their properties. So we have been working with legal. We have taken into consideration the amount of revenue that was anticipated for 2026 with the readiness to serve charges and what that would look like if that were removed and then assessed to the active customers, which as a result you can see in the ordinance, the attachments that have been provided to you, we do have a resulting charge for the remainder of our active customers, which, again, it's a little bit difficult unless you have this in front of you, but the existing charge for an property inside the city for January 1 of 2026 was going to be $18.22, and with this proposed change, that would increase to $19.12. Again, only active customers would be receiving that base charge. Those are folks that have a meter that is a 1-inch meter, or actually that's a below 1-inch meter. For those with a 1-inch meter, that change would go from $21.94 to $22.84. And then respectively, as the rate scale changes, so do those adjustments that we've made and proposed in this ordinance. I will stand for questions, but before we jump into those, just as an update to where we are from a bigger utility perspective, we currently have 1,767 accounts that we call them V status, vacant status, inactive accounts. So there are about over half of those, 962 of those accounts that have a delinquent balance. So the total of that delinquent balance of folks that have not been paying, as of this morning, is $730,442.97. So you can see, as we talked about with this committee, the last time we were in front of you all, we have about half of our customers being assessed this charge that are paying, and now a little more than half that are not paying. So that's based on our discussions with you all. That's what we have proposed, and we're open for discussion and feedback. We would like some feedback from you all as to what you would like to see before we go in front of the governing body with an amendment like this one.
Any questions for Director Davis? Chair recognizes Councilman Doe.
Thank you, Chair. Not really a question. This is pretty straightforward. I think at this point, my inclination is to keep this as simple as possible and to separate the discussion of what happens going forward in 2026 versus what happens with delinquent accounts. So I think as I read this, we're basically changing the name from readiness to serve to base charge, which we had before, which we've had since the utility's been in existence, I think. And then the other major change in the text is it only applies to people with active accounts as opposed to those that may have a water meter but aren't using any water. There's a financial piece of this that we have to cover, and that's been covered by I would say modest raise in the rates for 2026. The people that are using water are going to have to pick up the additional costs. So I'm in favor of this. I think it gets rid of an issue that has continued to bedevil us for the last couple of years, and it seems pretty straightforward. And then if we want to have a discussion about what to do with delinquent accounts, I'm going to suggest that we do that separately. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any others? Chair recognizes Councilwoman Hopper.
I remember there being a few accounts where they have water on for maybe, say, 5-6 months a year, and the rest of the year they don't. So how's that going to be handled?
Well,
They only pay the base charge the months they're on?
Correct. If this ordinance was amended as proposed, starting January 1 of 2026, they would only be charged that base charge when they have active service. So if they stop service in May, they would not have a base charge after that stop point.
Okay, then how is this going to affect our overall income for the department?
Well, the proposed ordinance changes that we have made accommodate what we would lose by the proposed increases to the remaining customers, the active customers. So we can't know exactly how many people are going to stay active. So this is what we had forecasted, and based on the revenues that we received in 2023 and 2024 and 2025 to date, we're pretty confident this, I forget the word that you used, but this minor increase, minor is relative, obviously, but this slight increase to the active customers will help make up the difference from what we would lose by not having any readiness to serve for inactive customers.
Okay. Thank you.
Before we go on with entertaining a motion, there was one person signed up to speak to this matter. Mr. Ledbetter? Or
I was told there's two others.
two others? I only have one on my sheet.
Okay. I'm not gonna talk. Oh my gosh, Henry, you've heard enough of it. Well, let's go.
Thank you, council members. I was not able to attend any of the evening discussions because I've got more important matters now. A little girl that wants to be read stories at night, and I just feel like I have a different obligation than the meetings at the city hall. However, I probably will make time to come up to this one if it gets put on the agenda. I want to give you just a little background of this because from what I'm hearing, we've done a lot of beating up on a utilities director that is not responsible for this. This was voted on by the body. I was there the night it was voted on. It was recommended by Steve Wade, who is not here anymore, but I had been hired for a few months. It was actually 3 months under that contract to deal with utility matters, and then I worked on other matters for him. And this RTS concept is not original with me, but I brought it up because I was asked to put the charges, spread them out more evenly across the city in a fairer manner than what was being done. And I believe that's what this did. It was basically called a base charge. I told Steve, you should just call it a base charge or a meter charge, but the RTS was what he came up with. There's nothing illegal about this. In fact, if it's illegal, how come 7 water districts that buy from us and don't pay an extra dime, by the way, over what our city people pay, how come they are buying hundreds and millions of gallons of water a year and they have this very charge in their charters? I know this personally because I had a property in District 3 for 16 years until I sold it, and nice price too. But anyway, I remodeled this farmhouse in District 3, and the first thing I was told in 2006 when I bought it by the listing realtor was, he said, you need to put your name on that water bill. I said, well, if I don't need water right away while we're gutting it, he said, you need to pay that every month or it will be removed. Your meter will be taken. And so for 16 years, I paid a base charge. The last one I paid was, even if the water wasn't on, was about $32 a month. Now, the people of that district and all the other districts around have never complained about this because they know it's fair to not have to pay for somebody keeping their property vacant instead of selling it or doing something more profitable with it. And so that is how this concept came up. Yes, I gave the idea, but it's not original with me. It came from my experience with the rural water districts. District 8 charges it. I had some property out there for a while. I sold it. But all of these rural water districts charge this. This is nothing new. So to blame the head of the department, to blame other people, blame me. I don't care. It was a brilliant idea. At the time, it brought in, by my estimate, based on the number of vacant houses, it brought in $65,000 a month. But it went on up to $88,000 a month. So not a bad return for paying a consultant to come up with $1 million a year idea for maybe tens of thousands. Of course, that's a local consultant that knew how things worked. What I'm concerned with is that I'm going to now have to pay, my neighbor's going to now have to pay, if you pass this, all the poor people in High Crest, well, there's not that many anymore because the place has been lifted up. It's doing very well, actually. But everybody else is going to have to pay what 2% aren't going to pay anymore. And the big question I have of people that own property, because I've owned property, and, you know, we grew up as renters in public housing, but I knew someday I was going to own my own house because I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get real estate because I saw it as a path out of East Topeka. No offense on East Topeka, but I did not want to live in poverty. And so I did start buying real estate when I was 21. But the thing I'm doing in this analysis is I'm going, why would you sit on a vacant house? Do you know how much damage is done to vacant houses by homeless people or just vagrants or people that just commit vandalism? Do you know how much damage rodents can do to a vacant house? It makes no sense to have a house vacant. So I know this is ancillary, but there's a point I'm going to make. If you have a house that's vacant, why wouldn't you fix it up and sell it or rent it and actually have it make money? Because I have never held on to vacant houses in all my years. That is absolutely something I would never do because they depreciate. It makes no sense for this city to have 1,800 vacant houses in neighborhoods that need housing. We need affordable housing. Why aren't these people just going ahead and selling them to somebody like me that would actually fix it up, or another person or a realtor, and actually make money off of it? I think it actually was an incentive to help them sell it. Now, that's ancillary. Have I exceeded my time, or?
You're close.
I'm close, okay. There's no timer up here like there is down at City Council. To me, it seems like we're almost given.
1 moment, please.
Yeah, that was 4 minutes. I set it for 1 more minute.
Would the committee allow for, how much, 2 more minutes?
Please?
Would the committee allow for 2 more minutes for Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Ledbetter.
Make it a quick 2 minutes.
Oh, you just interrupted me. We need to reset the clock. I'm kidding. Okay. When we have as much need for housing as we do in this community, why are we not giving people even maybe an incentive to go ahead and get rid of this vacant house that you're holding on, that you love so much, that nobody can use because it's vacant, probably torn up anyway, not necessarily, but could be. But I've fixed up houses that have been vacant for as much as 20 years, and they really deteriorate. So the point I'm making here, yeah, it's not utility related necessarily, but there's a good public policy in getting people to sell those houses over to somebody that's going to fix them up and turn them into a usable product, usable capital, I should say, and actually make a return of economic development into the city. I think we almost give preferential treatment under this ordinance to people that want to keep their houses vacant, which does not make sense economically. I don't know what the other reason might be. Maybe it's sentimental or whatever, but I just can't see holding on to a vacant house. It just makes no sense. And it's also a fire hazard. Well, anyway, thank you for your time. I hope I've not been boring. Is my 2 minutes up?
30 seconds.
I go ahead and give the 30 seconds to Neil. Thank you.
I was gonna say, Joe, you could read the ordinance to your daughter there Tuesday night.
Oh, no, she's too smart.
She's beyond that.
She's too smart for that.
Thank you, Mr. Ledbetter. I have Mr. Pat DeLapp
Did you want to speak?
speak.
Yeah, sure. I wanted to go after him, in case he uses my name.
I'm for this ordinance. Yeah, it's best to separate both the issues of what we do with people that don't pay. That's a complicated issue, things like this, which it's going to be, well, a problem too. Rural water districts they're exempt from this. The reason being, when you have water line spread out in rural water district, they become members. Not everybody is a member. You have to buy in. So you might jump 1, 2 farmers on down. If you want water there, you do have to pay a fee to buy the meter, things like this. If you want to keep the water, it's best you continue paying it, because here's the thing. The water line's only so big. It's not big like the cities are. Sometimes they're only 2 inches or less. They have to maintain a certain amount of pressure and volume of water to their members. If more people come onto that water district, the pressure goes down and down and down. Then in order to increase it, you got to start a new membership. So they restrict the numbers of members they can have. If you don't continue to pay for that water meter, they can take it away and sell it to somebody else. A couple years later, you want the meter back? Oh, I'm sorry, it's full. It's like on a bus. We have no more tickets. We have no more seats on the airplane. That's why it's recommended you continue to pay that fee. They're exempt from state law. Municipalities are not. Municipalities, it says you cannot be charging for fees and services you do not receive. We paid, when your house was built in the city limits, $20,000, $30,000 to have that water line, that sewer line, that street coming to your property. Rural water districts do not do the same thing. No, we did pay for it over 10, 15, 20 years. Few people, and I don't know anybody that just put out their wallet and gave them $20,000. You know, there might be. I don't know of anybody. We need to change this. This is simple. It's written the way, a good way of doing it. And should we be doing this as a way of filling up vacant houses? We have a homeless population. Is going to force people to get rid of their property and put homeless people in it? Come on. This is the job of the water district. The water district's job is to provide us clean water and take care of our sewer system. Not doing public engineering of how to get people to do things. It's totally improper. Vote this out. Hopefully the rest of the council will do it, and we'll deal with the other issues later. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything else for Director Davis? We'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Okay. Motion has been made.
I will second it to get it out of committee and work with I'll second it to get it out of committee and work with Ms. Davis to make sure that I understand this. It's on.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go ahead and take our vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Director.
Thank you very much.
On our agenda, we're at number 5, discussion on the Performing Arts Center.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So attached in the meeting agenda is a memo that was sent. So just to give a little bit of background, for the past 2 years, we've been making upgrades to the HVAC at both City Hall and TPAC. Originally, that project was funded for a total of $19,030,000 that would replace 6 of the existing systems at City Hall and TPAC. There was a subsequent resolution because 2 additional systems began to experience failures that increased the budget to $21,210,000. Following that, as we got further into the project, we were actually able to reduce that budget and add 2 additional systems, reducing that budget to $18,600,000. I am pleased to report that we will be wrapping up this project in the next few months. We should have substantial completion on most of those systems within the next month, with a few final touch-up items and a few pieces of equipment that we're waiting on that we're planning to install after the Nutcracker season at TPAC when they're a little bit slower. But as we near the end of this project, We do have some funds that are still available that could be spent. What we are asking for at this time is consideration to replace the boilers that are currently at City Hall and TPAC. So currently, what we have are 2 steam boilers. Those steam boilers take steam, use that to heat the hot water system, and then distribute hot water throughout the building. Steam boilers are an inherently, to use a non-technical term, finicky system. They maintain constant pressure and a constant temperature in order to supply heat to the heat exchanger system. That's inherently inefficient. It also doesn't allow us to ramp up and ramp down throughout the year because they have to maintain a constant heat and pressure. What we would recommend is replacing those steam boilers that were installed in 2011 with 2 hot water boilers. Those hot water boilers could better ramp up and ramp down. They could save energy in the off seasons when we're not needing quite as much heating capacity. And because those systems don't have to maintain pressure, they take significantly less maintenance. They have significantly fewer systems that are prone to failure. It would overall be a much less maintenance issue going forward. We have identified in previous assessments that those boilers would likely need replacement within the next few years. What we are recommending is, even though they have not failed yet, that we go ahead and complete those replacements now while we have a qualified team on site. And also, based on the cost of systems like this, we don't anticipate that they would be getting any cheaper in the future. So the proposal that you have before you would be to replace those boilers for a cost of $753,000, which we could accomplish within the existing project budget. With that, I would be open to any questions.
Any questions, comments? Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holbert.
Okay, I'm looking at the proposal page, and it does have an alternate. Going from 2 to 3. Is there savings to go from 2 to 3? I'm assuming they're a little bit different capacity.
So the proposal was, currently we have 2 steam boilers that are currently in operation. They looked at 2 different options. One would be replacing like for like to a hot water boiler using 2 boilers, and another would be using 3 boilers. The advantage of a 3 boiler system is you have a little bit less, you have a little more redundancy. You also have more ability to ramp down even further in your off season, but there would be more costs. The units they've priced in order to provide the capacity we need for a building of this size, the cost would be an additional, just so I speak accurately, $101,296 to go with a 3 boiler system. We feel confident that having the 2 boilers is adequate redundancy and would be a functional option for us. And at this time, we are not recommending we take on that additional cost of installing 3 boilers versus 2.
Okay. And what's the lifespan on a typical boiler?
You would expect 20 to 25 years. The current steam boilers that are in operation were installed in 2011, so they have not had that lifespan. However, as I said, they're powering a heat exchanger system, which is not exactly them used as their intended purpose when they were installed. So we would hope that because a hot water system has less moving parts, it has fewer systems it's dependent on, that we would get more life out of a system like that.
And more efficiency?
We would anticipate probably at least a 10 to 15, if not a 20% increased efficiency. By eliminating the hot water exchanger, that would provide typically about 2 to 5%, plus a hot water system typically is going to get 10 to 15% improved efficiency over a steam system.
Thank you.
Any others? Thank you. On the discussion items, we're at 5B.
So this issue came before this committee at our last meeting and was the topic of installing a fence around the employee parking areas at the law enforcement center. At that time, there were multiple questions that came up. What I've included in your packet is a copy of the design documents for that proposal, so you can see exactly where that fence would be located. I've also asked a couple of members of the Topeka Police Department to come forward and answer any questions you have regarding any incidents that have had in the past as to why this employee fence would be necessary. And I'd ask Major Kazar and Lieutenant Johnson to step up if they would like to at this time. So I know the question before us last time was, what kind of incidents have taken place? What is the necessity of the system? So if you could address some of the concerns of your staff.
Sure. I know one of the questions was incidents that have taken place, and I believe, Councilman, you precluded the protests of 2020 because it was 5 years ago, and we're all pretty familiar with that. When we sent it out for people to give their input, they came back with maybe 15 different situations that they could recall immediately. And before I get into all of that, I wanted to make sure that we understand that the fence itself is going to go around not only just employee parking, but probably 70% of our police vehicles as well. So it would be securing some employee vehicles, but the majority of our fleet would be secured by this fence. We have people walking through our parking lot every day because it's open. The fence itself would not preclude anything that we have available to the public right now. Everything that's available to the public to come into the police department would remain open. We wouldn't take any of that away. Any of their access would stay the same. They just would not be able to walk through our police vehicles and our employee vehicles, which is where we've had the majority of the incidents that we've gathered. They include burglaries to vehicles, damage to vehicles, people rifling around in vehicles, going through the parking lot, taking down tag numbers of vehicles, urinating in the parking lot, confrontations from some suspects involved in a couple of different things. A fire started in one of our trash cans. We've had a couple of times where people have spent the night either in the lobby or in the parking lot. And again, I could probably go on for a while about those types of incidents. These are the things we're trying to protect our employees, their employees' vehicles, and our fleet from with this fence. It doesn't go all around the law enforcement center. It just protects, again, from where some of us park and all of our police vehicles, which go all the way around where that's marked. That's what the fence would protect us from, or at least help. That's what we're asking for. I can't think of something. Do you have additional information on that?
So just for reference as to what we're looking at on screen, just so you can see the proposed fence, it's a little hard to see on this document because it is just a thin red line, but it would essentially be along the west edge of the property. So what you can see to the right side of this image here is the main visitor entrance. So there would still be substantial parking for visitors. People who are approaching off of 4th Street could still pull into the property. There'd be ample parking for them, and then use that main entrance there, which is that slightly bumped out, which you can see there. Thank you, Dan, for highlighting that. This fence would go along the west side of the property, primarily protecting the patrol vehicles and then our employees. So just for context, our employees do drive their personal vehicles to work, park in this area. If they are out on third shift or overnight, their personal vehicles are left at the law enforcement center while they're out on patrol, while they're out serving our community. This fence would be designed to protect their vehicles and also City of Topeka property during those times where they're away from the facility. I know some other incidents that we've talked about where we've had individuals that are roaming the parking lot writing down the license plates of our officers. We haven't had anything specific that we know as a result of that, but obviously that makes our officers very uncomfortable when people are writing down their personal vehicle information while they're out on patrol serving the community, and they know that that's happening with their vehicles left at the law enforcement center.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Ortiz.
Thank you. I'm going to say this. I think a fence is uninviting, and I understand some of the issues that you're having, but are those, I would like to know, is it once a year, twice a year? How often is it? Is there going to be a back gate, Jason, to let them in and out? I mean, you know, I just don't, if we have a situation, we have a situation, but I don't want to make more of it if we don't. And, you know, I worked at the courthouse, and they deal with that too, at the judicial courthouse, you know, people writing down tags, people breaking in, and we're the main ones that's saying lock it, lose it, or remove it. And I remember Chief Miller, when his his car got stolen because he didn't remove his keys. So anyway, they deal with the same thing. They don't have a fence over there. And so I want to know, before I would support this, is how regular are these incidents happening? You know, the whole downtown is dealing with the homeless population. You know, is it something that one of you guys can go out, the front desk can go out and monitor periodically? I don't know. I'm just asking. Those are my questions, Mr. Chair.
So to speak to the employee access, so there are 2 entrances that would be enclosed by this fence. Those are employee-only entrances near the back of the building. And then there would also be a person gate, so not a vehicle gate, but a person gate that they can walk through the fence using an employee badge to enter the entrance where the property room is. So just to address those issues.
And then we have a garage. What's in the garage downstairs? What do we have down there?
Police vehicles.
So the garage is the underground parking garage, I assume is what you're asking about. That's our daily patrol cars parked there. We have a few other CSI cars and our motorcycles predominantly. So they're call takers. The upstairs is our community officers, our hit and run officers, all of our detective cars, animal control, our child transport vehicles, all of our volunteers, the 3 VIPs cars. All of those are parked out there, and those tend to not be 24-hour driven. The ones in the underground tend to be more of that 24-hour, so they come and go more frequently. The ones that are out there tend to be parked there for longer periods of time unattended.
And currently, the underground garage does have a gate that closes after hours, so it is not available for people to come in and out. It is secure.
Yeah, and I knew that. That's why I asked, what's in the garage that do we need to move vehicles around? I don't know what the answer is. Thank you.
So currently, the police department operates about 230 vehicles in total. Not all of those are patrol vehicles. Obviously, I believe that's about 200 vehicles in total, and I believe the underground garage holds about 40 to 50 parking spaces.
40 to 50? Is that what you said, Jason?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair recognizes Councilman Doberly.
So this fence goes from 4th Street, basically 4th and Kansas, right? A little bit to the east, goes all the way down Kansas, and then does it tie into something down there?
It ties into the parking garage structure. So part of the if you are looking at the northwest corner of the property, there's a gentle slope there where you at some point are above the underground parking structure. It ties into a small wall that is built up where the underground parking garage structure starts. So yes, it would run along the property line, along the sidewalk on the south side of the property, then go north along Kansas Avenue to where it would terminate along the parking garage structure at 3rd Street.
Does this fence meet our building codes?
Yes, it does.
Why did we choose a chain link fence?
So the chain link fence was originally proposed as the lowest cost option, but we have asked that they bid alternates so that we have additional options to consider that would be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing but offer the same security.
And those are?
We have not received those bids yet. We want to make sure that we compare all the costs. I think probably the best solution would be something that we see, like, for example, at the wastewater treatment plant, where it's not a chain link. It's a fence that does allow security. It doesn't allow someone to pass through it, but it is a little bit more decorative.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with a fence. I understand the reason for a fence. But, we spent a lot of money on Kansas Avenue. A year and a half from now, we'll have just a really nice intersection of the new Polk Quincy and Kansas Avenue with decorative stuff. Between us and KDOT, we spent millions on. A chain link fence on the side of Kansas Avenue just doesn't look good. So I don't know what the cost differential is. I would support a decorative fence, something that looks decent that people can't walk through, because that's what you're trying to do. We all know what happens with chain link. The wind blows, trash blows, pretty soon you've got plastic bags and paper sticking in the fence, and we don't need that on Kansas Avenue. I think, even if it's a little more cost, we need to look at something that really fits in with the character of Kansas Avenue. So, leave you with that.
Thank you.
Anything else for Jason and the team? Thank you, Jason. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We're at number 6 on the agenda, other items. If this committee or anyone in the room has anything that will lead on to public comment, and I don't have anyone signed up at this point. Okay. Anything from the committee?
Nothing.
Okay, anything, city manager, assistant city manager? Nothing? Okay, then, we'll just adjourn this meeting. Next meeting scheduled for November 18, 2025, first floor in this conference room. Thank you all for attending.